You're going to be a part of history. It's never been done the first time. Shaggy, alongside... Good morning, good morning. Hold on, let me put that down. 1 second. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Good to see you all. I've been missing in action, but you know how it goes sometimes. You got to get your responsibilities done. And sometimes Saturday mornings is like sacrifice. So my apologies, but here we go. Dandelion coffee with some collagen and other mushrooms and stuff in there. How's everyone doing? I hope you had a great U.S. Thanksgiving. You know, ours is in October, so a whole month different, but hope you had a wonderful time with family and friends or just by yourself, however it was, and you enjoyed a good meal and you are thankful. So we're just going to catch up today, and I'll drop the link for my usuals who want to come. Let me just drop it now, and then we'll chit-chat for a bit. It's been an eventful couple of weeks. It's been, what, 3 weeks? I don't even remember. It's been a minute. And the song I played, Shaggy, with Chronicles, I like that song. And what they're saying, if you don't speak patois, is I bet you wish you didn't burn that bridge with people. Sometimes people do things and they think there's going to be no consequences. And the consequences, basically, you just remove them from your life or your association. And those who can't learn must feel, as we say. When you feel it, that's when you learn the lesson. So that's my song for this week. I've been playing it every day. And sometimes you have to, we talked 3 weeks, the last time I was live, which was about maybe 3 weeks ago now, we talked about setting strategies, winning strategies. And part of that is boundaries. And good morning to everyone coming in. I see you all, but I see someone who came in. Bayou came in recently. Miss Patty just came in. And Bayou, So Good Gardner, Can't Stop Walking, Growing What I Eat. Thank you for the super chat or the super sticker. Psalms, and those in the bushes. So having boundaries is very important. And, you know, we talked about this before, usually in the fall before holiday season, when people want to come and just have all their, good morning, Renaissance Grandma, have all their problems and it becomes your problem. I've been noticing the last, I would say, 3 to 4, maybe even 5 months, when you're so busy just pouring into your own cup and minding your own business and minding the business that pays you, and you have more reserve, it's better all around. You have more tolerance for people who need empathy and grace, like we all need, but you just don't have time for the foolishness. And don't let the foolishness of other people distract you and take away your focus on your where you're projecting, where you're going, the path that you're taking. Because these people come with all kind of distractions. So be careful in these streets. Not all family is family, and not all so-called friends are friends. I was watching a video, and it was weird. It wasn't weird, but it was just like the conversation just came up. It was a weird time that I even clicked on the video. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And they're discussing the difference between jealousy and envy, which I never really took thought of. And never focused on it. I just kind of put them in the same clump, but they're very distinctly different. Jealousy is like the normal stuff, like, oh, I wish I had that, car, or I wish, but it's not right, but it doesn't come with that vindictive aftertaste, if I can say that, if it makes sense. Envy is when they'll stop at nothing to get what you have and destroy you in the process. And usually the envy they're discussing, the jealousy comes from people that are not close to you, random people. But the envy is usually within your own camp. And I was like, what? Video ended and you've been thinking about it on and off for the last few weeks. And it's like, that's exactly it. When you think of all the historical stories of backstabbing and, dissension in the camp and assassinations, it's usually the one that's closest in the pack that ends up stabbing you, what we call a Judas, stabbing you in the back. And I was like, that point was, it just hit home for me because there's a difference between jealousy and envy. And the lens that you will go takes it over to the envious side. Because if I can't have it, neither should you kind of attitude. We need to keep our head on swivel and be very mindful of the circle that we're in and how much we're even sharing in that circle, because that just adds fuel to their evil heart. Anyways, I also, something funny happened too. I was complaining last time that I lost something and I think I threw it in the garbage by accident, brand new. Couldn't find it. I'm like, this perimenopause has me confused. Well, I found it. I found the original piece that I thought I lost, which I didn't lose. And then they sent the new piece that I had to pay shipping for. So now I have two of the same thing. And I remember like, oh, I did put it in there. And I'm like, I knew I had it, but I'm like, I can't find it anywhere. So I guess I lost it. I must have thrown it out with the box. Oh no, I found it. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, really? So I found the piece, and I don't know. I'm gonna have two, I guess. We'll figure that out. But it was quite funny. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't even pay for these kind of stories. Like, it just literally happens out the blue. Also, for announcements, remember that tomorrow is December. Can you believe it's December? Like, the year is gone. But I guess you can, because you guys have Thanksgiving, and right after it's holiday season. So for you, it's kind of like all mushed together. But it's like, it's December. So tomorrow is the start of the WIG Challenge, the Winter Indoor Growing 2024, hosted by GT Junior Grows It and Mike's Chaotic Garden. The rules are on their channels. I think Mike's Chaotic has a video with the paper with all the rules. It's very clear, simple. I'm an unofficial participant of it because it's like a US thing, but I kind of do it over here too. So I will be starting my seeds in my units, cleaning them out today. And I have some transplants I'm bringing in and so forth. So please, if you're a gardener or if you're into gardening or you're in a colder climate like we are, start your indoor garden. Good morning, Miss V. Start your indoor garden. This is a good time to try another technique. It has to be done indoors. You don't have to do hydro. You can do soil. You can do aeroponics, hydroponics. You can do whatever you want to do. But as long as it's indoors and you start from seed, it doesn't have to be an elaborate garden. It could just be one or two plants. So don't stress out about it. And just to try something different. What I will say is that hydroponics is not as forgiving as growing in soil. I can tell you that. And those of you can tell. All of a sudden your leaves are turning green. You have to add this, you have to add that, you got to check the pH. It's a lot to balance. So it'll help you appreciate your outdoor garden a little more and to be more intentional. But it's a good practice, especially with all these recalls. Like, how many recalls are we having? What's the last recall, Sam? You're always up to date. Was it the carrots? And was there something else recalled besides after the carrots? I can't keep up. I really can't keep up. But I don't know if it's just me. Is there a point? Is there a point of having recalls? And hear me out. People are nasty. We already know that people them are nasty. What are you gonna do? Keep recalling the food, or teach people how to wash and sanitize their stuff before they put them away in their fridge and stuff like that? Wouldn't that be a better solution? Because you're not stopping the problem. Meat. Oh yeah, the meat. I know the sliced meat was a problem. Ever since we had a meat recall or no, E. coli, there's something that happened about, I would say, when did I start that company? I started maybe 20 years ago now. Oh my God. 20 years ago, maybe at least 16. There was a recall on sandwich meat, on sliced meat. It was bad, bad, bad. Egg. Oh my God. And ever since then, we have been in the practice. I don't really eat sliced meat anymore, to be honest. That's like, it's kind of like for kids or people who like sandwiches, and it's not, I just eat real stuff. Like I'll pick chicken and make a sandwich out of it versus the sliced stuff. But you have to heat up your sliced meat. You can't just, hey, Shawnee, good morning. You can't eat them out the package is what I'm trying to say. You can't just take the meat out the package and eat it because you're at the mercy. So you either have to microwave it if you use a microwave. I do not. You have to maybe put it in the toaster oven, or you got to steam it in a pan or fry it. You can't just eat it out of pan. So if you haven't learned that lesson from then, I really don't know what to tell you. The carrots, I'm not returning carrots. I bought 10, 20 pounds the other day. I'm not returning carrots, but I will wash them like I always do and clean them properly. And you peel them if necessary. Carrots? How is there a recall? Like, think about what we're recalling. Mostly healthy food. Eggs? Well, if they stopped making us buy washed eggs, we wouldn't have to worry about it. And you should wash your eggs before you use them. I have my own chicken, so I don't use store-bought eggs anymore. Unless I'm doing a big baking session, fine. But you have to wash your eggs. Everything has to be washed before you cut into it or consume it. That's the end of it. Cucumbers, this is ridiculous. I don't keep track of as much as I used to with the recalls because it doesn't matter. And I said that to you guys. It has to come to a point where it doesn't matter. Am I mocking people who got sick? Absolutely not. I'm just saying you have to assume your food is not clean when you purchase it in the store. And you have to move accordingly. Everything that you bring into your house that came from other countries and passed through trucks and passed through planes and passed through 5 to 10 hands before it got to the grocery store is dirty, and you have to move accordingly. If you operate with those principles, you don't have to worry so much about getting sick unless it's something that cannot be killed by washing, disinfecting, by cooking. That's beyond your control. You can't control that. But get back to your local farmers. That's all they're teaching us, is to go back to the local farmers. But your home, your kitchen hygiene is imperative. People were mocking those who were wiping everything because of the pandemic. But maybe you have to do that because it's just too dangerous. Hold on a second here. Mr. Renaissance had to throw away a tray of tomatoes because they recalled them 2 days after. So you couldn't return them and get your money back? This is what I have a problem with too. Food is very expensive. I went shopping last night. So I was at Costco and I was at this store called the Real Canadian Superstore. And I'm shopping there now because of the experience is so much better, first of all, and they have much more selection. But if I'm throwing out something, I'm not throwing out money. Like that, they're asking a little bit too much now. First, I'm spending arms and legs for this groceries, and then you want me to throw it out? No, that's not going to work for me. So, yeah. So now the WIG is sounding more appealing to those of you who don't grow it. Go into the WIG, go get a little hydroponics, go get a little, I'm using 3 protein empty tubs and doing the cracky method because you got to start growing some of your own food. My tomato plant from last year, the Tiny Tim tomato, is still there. There was 3 of them. I have left 1. It's flowering again and it's putting out tomatoes. This has been over a year. So you guys can grow inside your house, but you're going to have to make it a priority. And if you would rather trust somebody else with your food, that's fine. Find a local farmer. Do not go to the stores. Hey, Joshua, having car issues, couldn't take it. Oh, one time I couldn't take it back and I called the store and I said, I'm not driving all the way back there. And I gave them the receipt number, whatever. They put a note and said, when you come back, talk to the manager, bring the receipt. I put down who I spoke to and they took the money back, me bringing the receipt. I didn't have to bring the items back because obviously I had thrown it out by then in the compost, but I had to call the store because I am getting my money back. Let me tell you, I'm getting my money back. So you got to be mindful, but be careful, guys. You need to be growing indoors if you can. I know some people cannot, but get connected with somebody or a greenhouse that sells food directly to the public. There are ways to do that. But I think we need to go, again, we've been talking about this for a few weeks. Clean your produce properly. Everything that you bring into your home, especially if you have young children and elders that can be easily taken ill if they're exposed to particular germs. So you do the best that you can, but I'm not going to be throwing money in the garbage. Food is too expensive. I went to area. I don't know if you guys, let me sidebar again. I don't know if you guys heard in the news in Canada, there is the prime minister is putting a pause on the tax from December 14th to, I think, either January or February. I can't remember the time. So we're not paying any GST on certain products. Some people don't like it. Some people kind of like it. Some people think obviously this is a ploy. We're not stupid, but certain foods and children's products and so forth will not be charged the GST. I'm old enough to remember when the GST came into effect, and I believe it was Mulrooney who brought it in. In any event, there should already be certain things that are not charged tax. And there's been some discussion I've been seeing, and I'm like, you know what, that kind of makes sense. Like, how are we buying food that was here, that God made for us, and it was already on earth? Yes, we buy trees, we propagate, we do certain things, but how are we charging for that in the first place? It's a bit weird. Like, when you think about it, like, how are we charging for apples? Nobody created these apples. They were here for us to eat. And then on top of paying for the apple, you're paying taxes, GST, and sometimes PST, which can add up to almost 13%. And we're already paying for a lot of imports, which are a higher price as it is. Do you see the compounded, amount that regular consumers are paying? Like, you're paying tax upon tax upon tax. It's a miracle you have anything left at the end of the week to even buy food. So I bought some stuff. I bought a lot of stuff, expensive stuff, to be honest, because I have I'm going to be juicing. I got the new I got sucked into the Black Friday sale, but I wanted it anyways. The new product from Nama, the plant milk maker. So I've been making my own milk, plant-based milk. So I will no longer be buying that from the store. I'm making it myself. So no preservatives, no fillers, no nothing. I know exactly what's going in there, and that's that. No sugar, no nothing. So I bought it for that purpose. Prepping and being prepared and is not just buying things. It's buying also the tools so that you can make your own food and control what you're consuming. So I bought it for that purpose, but I did want it and I liked it. And it makes life so much easier when you're trying to stop eating certain things from the store. But that means I have to buy more bulk almonds, cashews, coconut flakes. I had to buy more dates, which is fine, but I know exactly what's in these items. So prepping is not just buying buckets of stuff, and we have to also be buying the tools that we need to do what we need. Some of you all have mills to grind your own wheat. These are the kind of things we're talking about. So you have to be saving up to buy some of these tools and equipment because you're going to need them. If you're going back to an old-fashioned way or a simpler way of life and providing for yourself and your family, you're going to need tools because you can't do it manually. We've come too far to be going and doing some things manually, and your time is also valuable. We're so busy in a fast-paced society. You don't have time to be doing things by hand. It's no insult to anybody. We have to use our time effectively, and that means spending money on good equipment that's going to last the test of time. So that's what I'm doing over here. But I went to Costco, and I noticed more than one product had expiries of December the 1st. And I had to look at my phone to confirm, like, isn't this the 29th or the 30th? Like, I got confused. And I'm like, December 1st is on Sunday. How the hell are you going to use this big old bottle of stuff before December the 1st? And it's not even on sale. Well, maybe $1 off. If you're giving it for free, then I would take it. And there were seasonings that were expiring. I bought a bag of dates that's expiring January 11th. And that's not going to be done by January 11th, but it's okay with me. And all of these things, and they're not being marked down. I went to buy ginger, and I asked to take one. He goes, no, take from the skid over there. He was removing all the old ginger, I guess, and putting out the fresh boxes of ginger. They're not giving you nothing free. I think, honestly, allegedly, supposedly, Urban might start dumpster diving because these big stores are just throwing things out in bags into the dumpster. So I heard. But I don't know if it's true. Because all those things of organic ginger, I could be using that and dehydrating that and making something of use, but they won't mark it down. I went to the Supercenter store. The prices were better than the usual store, more appealing, less crowd, less people coughing and just being gross. And the prices were okay in certain areas, but it's really bad. I went to spend at Costco maybe $60. It was $130 later. I went to the other store and bought some stuff that was like $70 later. I bought something for this lady who doesn't have any employment. So I bought some meat for her and something else for her so she can eat some food, because I don't want to be just taking care of myself. The other people have some needs. So we're trying to help her get a job and getting her out there. But right now it's difficult. And sometimes you have to dig into your pocket and help somebody else. Nothing's wrong with that. But I put some of that money towards her, some food for her to eat. You can't have people in your own presence and you're not feeding them. That's just not right. But it is hard because the money ain't going as far as it used to. It ain't going as far. Oh, and thanks for reminding me, Renaissance. And then your person, your what do you call it? The president-elect has the audacity. I was sitting over here minding my business. Then I hear 25% tariffs. I don't know where this is coming from or what the details are, but I can tell you this. The last time that individual was in office, the main part of his, whatever you call it, his priorities was to renegotiate the NAFTA. It's no longer NAFTA. It's now, we call it Kuzma because we put the C in the front. You guys call it UMSCA because you put the US in the front, but Kuzma. And they renegotiated the deal between Canada, US, and Mexico. So I don't know how you're coming now and talking in 2025 that you're going to have a 25% tariff on Canadian goods. What was the point of having the Kuzma? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know the details. Just hearing it, I'm like, why do we have a Kuzma? Do you know what that's going to cause over here? That's going to cause a recession. We may already be in a recession, but maybe we're in denial. But there's no way in hell all the industries are going to survive a 25%. And I heard other countries are like, yeah, really? I think Mexico, it has a female president. She said something. And they're like, yeah, really? Okay. How do you have a trade agreement and now you're going to charge tariffs? That's the whole point of, like, that's what we do. I work in that logistics, and it's like everything has a trade agreement. We have CETA, which is the European Union. When the Brits left the European Union, they had to come and negotiate their own deals with the countries. And now we have another one for the UK. Don't ask me what it is. I can't remember. Then there's one for there used to be one for China, not anymore. Back in the day, I'm talking maybe 10 years ago, maybe more than 10 years. Then you have the European Union. I think there's one for Liechtenstein and Switzerland, like the Swiss watches and stuff. If they have, if they ship directly from them, that country, you get a break. And then they have anti-dumping. We're going into whole economics, but we have to start to understand these things so that these talks make sense. Then they have anti-dumping. Anti-dumping usually applies to China, Chinese goods, and screws, nails, things of those nature, certain things that there's anti-dumping. So you're allowed to ship things from, we'll say, the red country to here, certain products. And once you hit a quota, the quota is not for you as an individual company, it's for the whole nation. Once so many tons of that item enters the country, anything above that limit is now taxed at a very high rate. So that keeps the market from being flooded with foreign goods, and domestic made goods can compete in a fairer dynamic, because over there they're paying nothing for labor, there's no benefits, there's no health, like there's certain things that they're not providing for their working staff. So of course their prices can be dirt cheap, and that undercuts the domestic market. So I understand every country wants to protect their own industries. I have no problem with that. That makes perfect sense, so that there's balance, so that your local economy, your manufacturing, and your farms and your local produce can compete. And the Caribbean has a big problem with that, because their local farmers cannot compete with all the imports coming in. You'll go to Jamaica and you'll see nothing but Irish potatoes grown in PEI. Why am I going to Jamaica and seeing Canadian? This is what happens. So I understand how this works. But if you already have a trade agreement with Mexico and Canada and the US, and you're deciding on what can be traded amongst each other at a duty-free rate, you're still paying taxes. Over here we are, I don't know how it is in each of the states. You're still paying taxes, but the extra duty portion that can make manufacturing and retail very expensive has been removed. So it's not like you're not making money off of the imports. You still are. And those of you in trucking can probably show another perspective, because it's very, there's different pieces to the puzzle, which is why when the shoremen were going to strike, it was a huge problem, because a lot of the freight comes through their hands to get into the country. Now you're going to charge tariff, which is basically like an anti-dumping / that doesn't make any sense to me. And again, I don't know all the details. I don't need to know right now, because just knowing what I know and now hearing that, the two things don't make sense. So I don't know what message is trying to be sent, but that doesn't make any sense. To 3 neighboring countries that are literally connected by land, and we're having, before you even been inaugurated, there's already this, like, something doesn't sound right. So whatever. This is my rant about imports and exports, but something doesn't make sense. Let me just catch up with the chat. Everyone should be growing indoors. Yes. Yes, you got to clean your groceries. Psalms is saying she wants to grow indoors. Go indoors, but somehow the spider might. It could be your soil is I had to boil some soil the other day, some fresh soil, and I'm gonna put them out, and I'm gonna put some sand on top of it for my ones in soil. I had to treat all the soil, so I don't know if you threw out all your soil and sterilize it and brought it back in. It's kind of cold now in Chicago anyway, so maybe that's not gonna work now. But that's what I had to do. I can't imagine, because there's spider mites in my chicken coop sometimes, and so you got to be careful. Hey, Erica, I see you there. I can't imagine prices. That's what I'm saying. So in Canada, they're pausing the GST for a few weeks for the holidays, I guess. But now we're hearing tariffs. That's going to be destructive. I'm telling you, the economy is going to collapse in Canada. I don't know how it's going to happen in the States, but it's going to be a problem. His purpose is to get companies to stop outsourcing to other countries so that they can. Yeah, but that may be true, Psalms. And again, I'm not an expert in economics. Like, we have to start learning more about it, because it does affect everybody, as we can see. But it's too late for that. Like, it's kind of too late for that, in my opinion. That is, we're already a global economy, and things raw materials are being brought in and maybe finished in certain countries, or partially finished, and then sold again to another destination to finalize the product and sell it. What he's doing is more destructive. And if you're destroying another country's economy, how does that? It's not going to help you. It's going to hurt you. So, and it's probably going to cause more people, again, I don't know, to start fluctuating the value of the dollars. So I don't think this is a good plan. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense, because he specified Canada, and we have an agreement. We have a trade agreement. Now, trade agreements are not always for every product. So unless he's going to renegotiate now the CUSMA and say certain products are not on the list, this is all going back to the same thing from, again, 20 years back, when we had the soft lumber dispute with the Americans, with our soft lumber industry. You guys have to go back and start to read some of these old issues and stuff, because it helps you understand a deeper level of this politics. And people, I don't want to talk about politics. You can't talk about anything without it's involving politics, economics, trade agreements. All of that is political, because sometimes it's not about being fair. It's about who, bravado, and I'm going to show you I have power. You got to learn all of it. I don't see how people can have conversations. Oh, I don't talk about party. I don't care about parties. I don't care about party lines. I don't care about that stuff. That stuff is irrelevant, because it's the same bird flying around, whether it's left wing or right wing, or the body of the bird is still a bird. So all that argument back and forth, I don't even get into that. And people get so riled up. These people don't get two shits about you either way, right? Like, I don't know why you're getting so riled up about this person versus that person versus. They're all the same. They're all in the same, went to the same private schools, went to the same, they're all the same. Doesn't matter. Not every issue is a party issue. It's just common sense and just, if you care about the people and your constituents, you have to move in a certain way. Doesn't matter what the party is. I don't worry about that stuff. It's the same, because they're all the same. And to be honest, they're all the same. But that's going to be a problem. So I'm watching for those tariffs and what's going to happen, how they're going to be implemented and what the focus is. Because that blanket statement, hey, CC, good morning, has put everybody in an uproar. And I was driving down the street last week, and the amount of tents popping up in underpasses, overpasses, in dark alleys, in whatever is ridiculous. And the amount of robberies I've seen in the local news on Instagram is ridiculous. Carjackings in the driveway, all kind of foolishness going on in neighborhoods that I know of, like regular schmegular neighborhoods. People going to the garages, stealing, putting up. One guy tried to mug somebody on his driveway, parked his car behind the homeowner. He made a good move though, because he wouldn't open his door. He wouldn't, and he reversed the car into the person's car and got away. The only thing that I would have done is I would have driven the car allegedly towards the person as I'm trying to make the 3-point turn to get out my own driveway to get free, because you're not getting off scotch-free. And I would have reversed into his car and just drug that car all the way, because I have to pay the insurance claim anyways. These crimes cost you money, not them. It costs you money. Because the video camera that the guy had on the property caught all of it. And the guy was saying, oh, I got to ask you a question. I got to ask you something. You're going to ask me a question in the middle of the night on my driveway, and I don't know who you are. You ask me through the window. No, I need to talk to. These criminals are not very smart. Dumb is lead them to the school of dumbness. They're not very intelligent. So the guy wouldn't open his window or his door. The tents are popping up, Sam. The tents are popping up. And I don't care. Like, we all got to live. But when they live and they're so dirty, like they don't clean up the garbage, they don't put it in a bag or a bin, and there's bags everywhere. Like, I wish they would just keep their area a little tidier so that it wouldn't be such an eyesore. Like, I can't control people's circumstances, and I'm not going to tell them they can't go there, but I do want and appreciate them to kind of keep the place cleaner. But there's tents popping up everywhere, and it's getting real cold outside because yesterday was cold. No, I don't open mine to nobody. And something happened. I can't remember now. I'm going to drop the link again in case someone wants to come up. You got to be very careful. Like, sometimes you're in your car and you're going through your phone, you're organizing something. Make sure your car is locked. Make sure your car is running. Well, I have to now because it's cold outside, so obviously it wouldn't be just sitting there. But because if you got to put your car in a gear and kind of make a quick move, you got to make a quick move, because these people are using your that's what it is. I saw on the subways a video. A guy was on the subway. It was probably in New York, because that seemed like a New York thing. It wasn't Canadian, because the color of our train is different. And he's on his phone, you're on your phone, and then somebody ran by, grabbed his phone, and exited the train. The doors closed, and that was that. A phone is like, well, I don't spend as much as some of y'all on phones, but phones are what, $2,000 easily? It's even more. And your phone, like, I never thought I would come to this day as my own self, but you can't live without your phone. Your phone is your computer, your calculator, your banking. It's your communication with texting and all those social apps. You're talking about even making appointments for your doctor on these special apps. Your GPS, your tracking, email, your Amazon to do your shopping. What do we not use our phone for? This has become like, you cannot live without your phone. And the younger generation, that's definitely, they run their businesses on their phone. They making transactions and sales on their phone with Facebook Mart and all the other little apps that they're using. You cannot live without your phone. So you can't be out willy-nilly on your phone and then someone can just grab it from your hand and they're gone. So, and I don't know if the phone was locked because he was in it. So hopefully it locked, but I don't keep my phone apps open. I have to sign into each of the apps as I want to use them. I know it takes a little bit more time, but I don't care, because if the phone is ever not in my possession, you can't get into any of my apps unless you know each of those individual passwords, because that's how you got to move in these streets. Because I could even misplace my phone of my own negligence. I put it down and forget where it is. I misplace my phone every day in my house. Went to the washroom, the phone was there. Where's my phone? Oh, it's in the washroom. I lose my phone every day in my own house. Can you imagine out in the streets, you put it down, you forgot where you put it down? And that too, my phone, even right now, is probably getting low. And then you can't even call it to find out. I left my phone in the car yesterday going to Costco. It was charging it in the car, not my car. And then I went into Costco, they're parking. I'm like, oh, my phone. So I had to get someone to call their phone to say, bring my phone. And then they brought the phone. But even that, you can't leave it in your car. Somebody might just see it and smash the window and take it. Your phone is that important. So you got to move and keep your head on swivel. So we were in Costco yesterday. So I was with somebody and my sister. We all went together. So we all went together to Costco and then to the other store. And we got our carts. We're together, but we're not together. Like someone's over there by banana, someone's over there by bread. And we're kind of in the area, but we're not all together. And these two weird guys were just walking up and down the aisles and not doing nothing. So I walked up, by the bread, he's there. I go to get kiwis, he's there. But go somewhere else, him did it. So then now I connected back with my sister because I'm going to go now to get the mushrooms in that cooler room. And I go, those men are, she goes, yeah, we both saw it. I'm like, weird. So then the other lady came, what's going on? I said, yo, man, them two weird man behind me in the blue shirt. And so she goes, yeah, I go, them weird, man. Them weird. Them a watch people. Watch yourself. Watch your handbag. So then we noticed that I think they were shopping with their mother. And she goes, yeah, I think they're shopping with their mother. I go, even worse. Two grown men have to shop with their mother. Mega weird. Mega weird. So they're just laughing. But I'm like, they were moving weird. They weren't picking up anything. They were walking up an aisle and watching what you're doing. I have to shop with old people too. But usually it's one adult and one senior. I've never seen two adults walking around with one senior. And you weren't actually picking up anything to put in her cart. So they were weird. And he saw that I said he was weird. I go, they're weird. Watch them. Keep your head on swivel. And I'm like, they're like, what? Well, keep your head on swivel. Weirdo alert. Because when people are watching you that hard and you're reaching for something and your purse is like kind of in your side view, they can just grab something and gone. And no one's going to be watching and you're going to be like, where's my purse? And they're walking off calmly, not running, and you're not going to know who it is. You got to move. People are very desperate. So you got to really be, when I go shopping, I use a particular handbag, even though I had it in the trolley. I have a crossbody bag and I keep it on my body. I keep my keys, if I have a pocket, that is. Sometimes I don't have a pocket in my trousers. I'll have to have my keys in my pocket because if anything, I got a key to get in my house and to get the car started. You can't have everything in your bag. This is how you got to move because people are watching in the stores and seeing when you're distracted and then they're gone with your phone and gone with whatever. What else happened this week? So yeah, the tent cities are popping up left and right. There's a property that we have and it's now occupied. So there's a problem with homeless people cutting through. But now that there's somebody there and there's a man there, he's making sure that people aren't just coming through. People aren't making it through fair. He goes outside at odd times just to be out there so that they know someone's there. And there's been a complete improvement because our handyman that usually goes and does like a drive around, he's diagnosed with cancer. And they said, he messaged us yesterday. He's like, they gave me 6 months to live. So we don't have him anymore. Well, I wouldn't say that. We may not have him anymore because he's very ill. And we'll see what happens. And the fact that he's reaching out and what he said, like very nice things that he said, people really don't have anybody. Like, it's really sad. It's sad and it's good as well because that means that we played such an impact on his life and we made such an impression upon him. So that's a good thing. But it's sad that he doesn't have anybody to turn to, that he's actually, some of the things that he's saying, it's like he's talking to a family member and keeping us up to date with his condition and what's going on and what he's going through. And we're just giving him, positive messages, but people don't have anybody. Like, it's really rather sad that there's no friend, or I think he was married. I've never met his wife. I don't hear any reference of his wife, so I don't know. she could be there, but maybe she's not giving all that support. I don't know, but he's reaching out. So it was kind of sad, but kind of like good that he felt that, comfortable. But I kind of sent a message like, if that's what they said, try to get your life right with God, because you only get one life. And if you know that's coming to an end, you got to get things right with God. He's never been really religious, but I had to say my little thing because I don't want blood on my hands. So I said, you're going to have to, get right with God. That's your decision, but it's up to you, because you can't say that you weren't told or you didn't hear. And hopefully he takes it seriously. But if you got 6 months to live, what would you do if you had 6 months to live? I think I would just sell everything, quit the job, and just go around the world and spend the 6 months traveling, seeing things I didn't see, and just exploring if I only had 6 months. I don't think living through this matrix day after day after day is helping any of our health. The amount of people in the last, I would say 2 months, that have told me they got diagnosed is at least 4 people. I already knew he was sick from before because he had it before, but 4 new people have told me that they got diagnosed. What's going on? Like, this is rather odd. And I told somebody, because I'm sending her some special juice, like, there's cabbage and different things, certain fruits you put into it to make it has high antioxidant properties. So I said something, and it was just odd. Again, I'm not mocking, but it just was odd. So I said to them, it's important that you eat God's food. I don't know what you think God's food is. And hi, Tamika. I don't know if it's a hi to Tamika, but I see you there. I think I did, but maybe I didn't. But I said God's food. And I think, to me, saying God's food is kind of, it's like self-explanatory. I didn't say, I made it so vague that you can't mess it up, is what I'm trying to say. You couldn't mess it up. God's food. And then in the conversation, she was going to mix the juice that I'm telling her to make in the tea, and she was going to mix it with something like glycerina, let's say glycerina, like, those drinks, or the protein drinks you get. And I'm looking at her like, I just told you to eat God's food. Did God make that? Did God make it? Because I'm like flabbergasted that a grown adult who's older than I am really is telling me you're going to add, the something to the something and make it taste good. I said, what is in the bottle? Do you read what's on the bottles? Did God make any of those things? Can you go and pick any of those things off a tree or off a bush and put them in a jar and blend it together and make that concoction? Is anything in that bottle in the form that it was created in, or is it extractions from things? And I was like, literally, I left their presence, went to my sister. I'm like, yo, is it just me? I'm like, that kind of sound kind of like not too smart. Well, some people don't know. I go, how do you not know God's food? Any 2-year-old would know God's food versus anything in a package. Is God didn't make that. God didn't put anything in a box that you have to unwrap and has an expiry date. Like, there's none of that. How do you not understand what I just said? You just got diagnosed with a terminal disease and you're fighting for your life. And your first thing you mention out your mouth is, I'm going to open a bottle to mix it with this so it tastes better. I said, you know what? There's a lot of people that I am not saying certain things to certain people. Like, some people are sick, some people are this, and I have my own beliefs on health and wellness, because the more that I dig deeper into the hole, the more information you get. And it's most of the things, if you start digging deep enough, stemming from parasites and those kind of things. Even what you think is something else is linking back down to some kind of parasites, and we need to cleanse our body. But you can't tell people that, because they're going to the oncologist and the discologist and that ologist and the this, that, and they went to school for 50 million years and they're telling you this, that, and that. But none of their solutions ever heal you or cure you. Never, ever. Again, it's not medical advice. So I don't say nothing, because the same way how I found the information, they can find the information. Because it says seek and you will find. When you seek, you will find it. So I don't say nothing to people no more. You can go online, you can find anything that you want to find nowadays. Because if you've gone through it more than one time and you are getting it again, then what they gave you to take doesn't work. It just delays it. But let me read the chat. It's the food. Hold on. So if Erica's selling everything, yeah. What's the point of going through the matrix? It's the food. Everyone is trying to eat healthy in our community, and they don't like that. Our community is used to eating. I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. People would rather grab something instead of cooking. You ain't lying. I have been cooking. Well, Erica knows we've been doing, all of us have been doing the workout. So Gina, myself, Erica, Carbon, we just keep each other motivated. So I've been working out pretty much every morning. I missed a few mornings. I did a couple during my lunch break. But putting that discipline, we always talk about they're not coming to save you. And we all know they're not coming to save us. But yet we're not really doing anything about it. And some of you are doing something about it. But the most important thing that you need to be doing something about is your health and wellness. Because if you ain't healthy and well, you can't do diddly squat. You cannot do. I had something drop on the floor. I had to bend down and pick it up at Costco. And I was bending down, like, Lord have mercy. But I'm bending down. Thank God I can, because I've been exercising at home and doing some flexibility. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. And I've heard that all my life. But now that I'm at that age, they weren't lying. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And you think in your mind, you're still like, 20 years ago. Nope. Just bending down to pick up something, crickling and crackling. And you need to put oil in the knees because you're feeling all stiffy. And then you get up, you got to catch your breath because you feel like you're winded and you're spinning. But I've been working out. We have to prioritize ourselves. And depending on who you are and your role in the family, it becomes very difficult because you got to, take care of everybody else. If your cup is not full, you need to exercise. There are things that the medical profession knows that we need to do to stay out of the hospital, the doctor's office, stay off of medication. And you need to do that yourself. Some of you all have very physical jobs, so that is your fitness. So it's a bit different. You don't have to do, but you bending down and getting up, going up and down stairs keeps you nimble. You know how many falls elders have? Because my mom, one thing she would do, she started to realize she was going up and down the stairs every day as just exercise. Because when she had to go to the doctor, it became like this scary, difficult thing. And she couldn't do the stairs, and she couldn't, because when you go to certain buildings, there's not necessarily an elevator, or there may be some steps to go into the building. And then that was a scary thing. So she started going up and down the stairs in the house, every day in the morning and then in the evening, to keep that mobility, keep that balance, keep your knees and your quads and all that, you're strengthened. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So we're working out whenever we can in our own schedule, and we're just, showing accountability. I got a mat, a 2-inch thick mat, and that's helping me not have any knee injuries when you're doing the aerobics. And it's so much more energy, so much more clarity of mind. Everybody's getting sick left and right. I'm a bit congested, but I'm not getting sick. I'm having my ginger shots every day. I'm cooking. I put things in the toaster oven, let them warm up, and I eat my lunch. I haven't been buying things out, and I bought a cooked chicken from Costco yesterday. I haven't bought one in years. I would say years. I bought the taco kit, but I haven't bought those cooked chickens. First of all, those chickens are not even cooked. Those of you who've eaten them know they're not even cooked. You got to go and cook them again. Secondly, they used to be in like a black tray, and then the dome lid, they're in a plastic bag. And then I remember when I came home why I shouldn't have bought the chicken, because I saw a video on Instagram by this scientist, and he didn't like that it was now in a bag. So he had asked the corporate to discuss what the bag was made of. He never got a straight answer. They said it was safe, but so they're putting the chicken bag on this heating plate. So it's literally like a Ziploc bag with heat, because the chicken is hot in that bag. How is that plastic not leaching into the chicken? allegedly, because I don't want them coming for me. The chicken may be okay, and that's me being very generous, because it's probably not. But the packaging that they're putting the stuff in is dangerous. So I won't be buying that anymore. I'll just buy the chicken breast or whatever I want and just cook it up myself, because it was just as easy. In the morning, I get my stuff, prepped, seasoned, marinated. You put it in the air fryer, you put it in the oven, you put it in the Instant Pot, whatever one you want to use. And I'm blessed to work from home, and it can be ready to go by lunchtime. I have a hot, fresh lunch. No microwave, no nothing. I haven't used microwave in so long. I do not use microwave. I don't believe in it. I never did. I did because I have to work in the office and it's kind of hard, but I don't use a microwave. I think that's been one of the big improvements. You need to go and look up what the microwave does to the food. Because what it's doing to the food and then what you're consuming is literally changing your cells. You don't have to believe me. Look it up. All this stuff is available on the internet. And then you'll start to realize some of the advancements that we've made are making us sick. What you're eating is very important, but the tools that you're using, the Teflon coated nonstick pans, the rice cookers that are lined with Teflon inserts, you can get the stainless steel inserts. My Instant Pot is stainless steel. The other one that I have, the triple XL old one, the insert is not stainless steel, but you can order one from Instant Pot. It fits into that one as well. We need to change some of the utensils that we're using, because after I'm seeing all these updates from doctors and scientists, these utensils are making us ill. So be very careful. All these, Black Fridays and deals that they're, great deals. Look at what it's made with, because you might not want to buy it after all and just wait for something more suitable. It's very important that we cook. Let me see the chat here. In Romans, it says, professing themselves to be wise, they have become fools. People just refuse to listen to anyone who doesn't. Right. Do your research. But I'm telling you, I saw another video this morning, and it's like, because of what I'm searching for, the algorithm is pushing certain things. I have 2 separate Instagram accounts. One is more like for fashion and stuff, and the urban gardening is very like gardening, growing food, self-sufficiency. So it's feeding me that stuff. It will give you what you're looking for. So if you're not finding these things for yourself, you've taught the algorithm that you don't want this kind of stuff. You're doing other foolishness. You have to either intentionally seek out this stuff or start to search for other things so that it'll feed you those things. And on Instagram, you need to be very careful, because I've been getting a lot of likes on. I put a picture up of my kusha that got eaten by an animal. I said it 3 weeks ago, and I'm still getting likes on that picture. The picture is not that interesting if you're not a gardener. It has no meaning to you if you don't garden and grow food and understand how much work goes into growing something and then it's all chewed up. It doesn't mean anything to anybody else. So when you see these random women liking your picture, just, heads up. And then you go on their page and it's like all kind of foolishness. I block about 5 people a day. Then one of them messaged me. I don't think on my Instagram I've shown my face, because every time I'm recording what's in front of me. So I don't think I've ever showed my face on the Instagram stuff, because I'm not in the shot. Oh, someone said, oh, hi, sexy, you're so cute. Message me. Block. Really? Who are you? There's a lot of weirdos on Instagram. So if you're going to go on there, just be vigilant, because there's some weirdos, nasty ladies. I don't even know if they're real. It could be AI generated and some man is behind the scenes, because you don't know what you're getting half the time. Be very mindful, but you got to block a lot of people. But anyways, use it or lose it. Oh, yep. Use it or lose it. With your muscles, it's important to stretch even on the ones that we don't regularly think of. Otherwise, I've been doing the aerobics in the house and stuff. I've been watching Grow with Joe. She stumbled on my feed. I like what I see so far. She has quite a few free workouts on YouTube, so that's what I've been doing. And there's some other ones. And then I did one last week, which is all Missy Elliott music. So that was my jam. But even doing squats and bending down certain moves, I'm like, oh my God, like this is it wasn't difficult before. But I guess in the last, since the pandemic, you're deteriorating and you don't even realize you're deteriorating. So I'm just saying this to tell everybody, like, really get back into working out, because you think you can do something that you used to do no problem. And it's not so easy. I nearly tipped over on the escalator yesterday at the store, and I was leaning, and I kept leaning. I'm trying to get back straight, and I'm like, my ankle was weak. And I know that one is my weaker ankle, but it was ridiculous. And I had to grab the railing and get myself. I was just losing and I would have fell over. And then what the store has is, like, they have an escalator, but it's not an escalator. It's like a ramp. So you go up with your shopping cart empty, and when you go down with your shopping cart. So I let go of the cart because the escalator thingy is like magnetized, and the trolley was there. So I turned to my sister, go, see, it holds the trolley. When we turned, she's like, grab the trolley. The trolley was rolling. I'm going to go lick the lady in front of me. I said, Lord God. So I'm going to go run get the trolley. Nearly tripped again. Needless to say, the exercise saved me because my reaction time was better. I could grab it. I didn't stumble. So it locked again, but somehow when it was going down, it shifted and the trolley was rolling. I said, never again. Don't put your trust in these machines, because I would have hit the lady in her back. I would have had to scream and say, look out, so she could move out the way. That would have been a whole problem. And would I be sued for that? I'm not even sure. Would it be the store's fault or my fault? Because the thing wasn't working. I don't know. But heads up, if you have those kind of stores where it has like a 2-tier and you go down the escalator and go up, don't let go of the trolley. Even if it's holding and it's locked in place, do not let go of it, because I almost injured that lady in her back. But please exercise and cook some food. I'm really enjoying ground provisions again. Squashes and pumpkins, just roasting it with some olive oil and some salt. Oh my God, it's like the best thing. It's so buttery and creamy. It's like eating eating sweet potato pie or eating candied yams without all the candy and all that stuff. It's very tasty. I haven't cooked rice in months, to be honest. I've been eating just ground provisions. I just saw a video with utensils with black handles too. They show that it's made of recycled electronics and spray with fireproofing. Yeah. And every time, even without heat, a lot of this stuff is off-gassing. And I think even they said shower curtains that you use, it's off-gassing even when it's not. And then you have the steamy shower, it's making it worse. There's a lot of, I think it's VOCs in your house. One time a firefighter, we had a thing for the kids, and they came and talked about stuff, and they said a lot of what kills people, deletes people in their home during fires is the smoke and stuff. You die from smoke before the heat. And what he was saying was, it was like way back, we had this thing with the kids when the kids were younger. And when it burns your furniture and like the VCR, because I'm like, that's dated, VCR and the tapes and all those plasticky things, all those fumes are heavily toxic. And that's what pretty much knocks you out before the fire actually even gets to you. The smoke knocks you right out. So some of the stuff that we have in our homes is very toxic. Never mind when it's heat's added to it. So just be mindful of what your carpets and certain things he was mentioning that are just very kids' toys, very toxic. And I've been looking at pots and pans and stuff like that. And I said, look, I'm changing some of my stuff out because I have a nonstick Teflon one, because you want to fry something and it's not sticking. But no, cast iron. I have my cast iron out again, and that's what I'm doing. I don't cook on foil either. Some of you like to, those. I don't know why people. I've never, even if I'm going to go out to a function, cooked or baked in those foil pans. I know they're made for that, so they say, but you're not supposed to cook in foil. And somebody had a snarky comment when someone mentioned it, but you're not supposed to cook in foil. And if you are going to cook in the foil, you're supposed to line it with parchment paper. So sometimes you see the old time people would grease the pan and then would line it with parchment paper. You know those like dollar store disposable trays? I'm talking about that. You're not supposed to just put the stuff in there and cook in it. You have to line it with parchment paper because that's leaching into your food. I don't cook in those things. I'll put it in there after it's cooked to take it with me to the event, but I don't cook in it. And people actually cook in it. You're not supposed to cook in foil. I have a foil lining in my tray, but I put parchment paper on top so that the food's not touching the foil. So that's another thing that you may be doing that you don't realize. Anyways, I'm just here to catch up with you guys, touch base, because I haven't been on in a while. So I want to make you guys see it. I'm good. I'm fine. Just some things are tying up some of my time, but set some goals for yourself. Set time to exercise. It doesn't have to be a whole long drawn out thing. This lady Grow with Joe has 10-minute videos, 15-minute videos, 30-minute. Like there's different timelines. Plus there's different what do you call it? Challenging levels, basic, medium, advanced. So give it a try. You don't have to leave your house. It's right there in your living room. Put it on and exercise, and you're going to do yourself a world of good. Because if you're not keeping the muscles toned and the bones strong, you're going to really have difficulties going out in the street and tripping and falling. And the last thing you want to do is fall and hurt yourself. That's not a fun thing to do. I fell and hit my knee shoveling one year, and that knocked my knee out for like 2 seasons. It was very difficult going up and down the stairs. But now that I've changed my diet again and I'm doing more things, I don't have an issue. Good morning, Barb. Up and down the stairs. You cannot live in this society, in this world, and be independent if your body can't keep up with this general up and down and running errands. It's going to be very difficult. So please try to exercise, prioritize your health, prioritize yourself, and make healthy meals, and try to change your taste buds to not be craving those addictive stuff. Good morning, So Blessed. Because no one's coming to save you. Your health is your responsibility. Your children, your family's health is your responsibility. They can't go and get the junk food unless you're buying it and giving it to them. So we need to take ownership and accountability of what we're giving our children, nieces, nephews, whomever, and what you're bringing into the house, what you're feeding yourself. Half of what you're eating is not even real food. And we know that. We've seen people go through the ingredients. It's not even real food. There's no nourishment. Please start to prioritize. And I know it's not as easy. Trust me, I know. But take some little steps and make some small changes and change your taste buds. And then you won't be craving these highly addictive foods. They want you sick. They want you dumbed down. I'm going to close off, but I'm going to also mention that something I just remembered. I mentioned that some states were going to be removing fluoride from their water. Well, I'm hearing that in Canada as well. Not in my province, Ontario, but some other provinces are discussing it as well. And they're agreeing with the science that it's making children less intelligent. And some people are saying, oh, you can't link it to fluoride. I think it's a good move because if you need fluoride, you're going to get it in your toothpaste anyways. So I don't know why the responsibility is not being put on individuals for proper hygiene and proper care. You don't have to have everybody having fluoride to prevent rotten teeth. If they're eating a proper, hey, good morning, LP. If they're eating a proper diet and you're teaching them proper hygiene, there shouldn't be an issue. I don't think we need fluoride in everything. I think it's doing more damage than good. Do your own research. I think we need to start taking control and being responsible for our own health. I would rather them have some kind of filter to add fluoride than to have everybody having this fluoride. But that's coming over here too. There, certain provinces are discussing it. I think it's good. The water needs to be kept clean. They need to focus on that, not fluoride, keeping the bacteria and the viruses out the water and the excessive amounts of chlorine. So let's not get caught up in the mumbo jumbo. Get what you need to get. We'll talk about this more next week, God willing, if I'm available. I think I am, but I'll be in these YouTube streets. Please also check on our YouTube families. Some of you all know other people in this community in real life. There's been some people I haven't seen in a minute. I'm not going to call it any names. I haven't seen them in a minute. So hopefully you all are checking in on these individuals and making sure they're okay. It's very obvious that certain people are dealing with certain things because they're not online. They're busy taking care of other things. So just keep your eyes open and make sure that people are okay. Holidays can be very challenging for people for different reasons, or that maybe their family members are having some health issues. If you know some of these individuals in real life, you have their contact information, please check in and make sure that they're doing okay and that, there's an open line of communication. I don't have everyone's contact, and same with you all, but those of you who do have contact with certain individuals and you haven't seen them in these streets in a couple of weeks, it's been a couple of weeks for some people, I haven't seen them in these YouTube streets. I don't mind if they're not posting, but I haven't seen them in the streets. So please check in. Just check, especially if you haven't seen them anywhere. You haven't heard anybody else mention seeing them either. Just check in and make sure that they're doing good, just so that we know they're okay. All right, guys. Have a blessed week. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna get some stuff done today and plan for my week. But stay blessed, be kind to yourself, and be kind to others, and make sure you're stocking up, because these prices are getting out of hand and something's coming. We've been saying that, but this new transitional changeover is going to cause some issues. So just make sure you stock up on what you need, please. All right, take care.